Hey everyone, so we're back out here day 2. We're in our better field. It had a hard rain last night, so it's looking a little good today. We're still having our competition from the video you guys saw that we just posted. We ended that one at 3 and 3. I think we tied. So we've been out here.
Walking some new spots.
Yeah, we've been out here for about 10 minutes walking a new portion of the field, and I found one. Looks like it might have a little ding on it. Really pretty material though. Normally out here we kind of find some blah white, so this one's really pretty. It's got the whole tip.
Oh wow.
Oh, just a little teeny ding. It's really thick.
Yeah, look at that notch.
Oh, that's so pretty. Heartbreaker.
Was it got a little base ding and an ear ding?
I don't know if there is an actual ear ding there, or if it's how it was made.
Nice. Let's see real quick. Beautiful material, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Good job. On the board.
I'm on the board.
I gotta play catch up.
Always.
Again.
I don't know if that's broken or not.
Oh. So at least 90%.
90% it counts.
All right.
So 10 minutes ago I just found that really pretty bluish colored one. I just walked up on another one. Hope this isn't the kiss of death where you find the first few in the first 10 minutes and then nothing else the rest of the day, but
It's a killer.
this is a killer. It's probably one of the biggest points I've ever found, and it looks to be 100%, so.
Looks like a killer Dixon. I'm thinking, look at that. Right, literally on top of a pedestal. Like I said, we got probably at least an inch of rain, if not 2 inches of rain last night. Look at that thing just shining. All right, go ahead, pop it.
Wow, that's like 100%.
Man, what a beast. It's like a monster Dixon. Pretty color
It's
too.
really, still really sharp.
See it. Wow. I would say you can't beat that. It's not only has it got size, it's got killer flaking and beautiful material. And there's not a nick on it. Good job. I'm jealous,
It's
but
2
good
for-
job.
2-0 so far.
I better wake up, huh? All right, killer.
That's pretty material.
Yeah, well, we'll see if we get some more. All right, well, here we are. About 2 minutes after Tico found what was probably the biggest Dixon that we found. We're cutting across to another spot that we haven't looked yet, and just randomly looked down. I said, keep your eyes open, and I found one. It's kind of hidden here. It's got a little bit of mud on it, but it looks to be a pretty good one. So now I'm on the board. 2-1.
2-1.
There's where she laid. Oh yeah. Well, that's a nice little point. Like really nice. Perfect. A little chunky on that side, but all right. I'm on the board.
So we're in a new spot, and I found another point. So that makes it 3-1 right now.
Yeah, I'm slacking.
We're not in what I would say is like my favorite kind of spot. It's a little lower. It's really wet. It's really muddy. I was actually kind of just wanting to turn around, but I'm glad we didn't. So
Here's what, just real quick. This is what I'm finding, which isn't bad, I guess. just a bunch of big tools. So, and I mean, I actually thought this would have been really cool. Check out the flaking in that. So I'm finding the big junky tools.
I find the points.
She's finding
But
the
remember,
points.
it's because I sit lower to the ground.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and they're white. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
he said I find the easy ones today,
this, yeah.
so this is a little funky.
look at the tip on that.
Oh, it's really sharp.
It looks really
It's
sharp.
very, very funky. It's really thick.
This on here. Oh yeah.
It's like the longest
Yeah.
base I've ever seen.
Well, it's because that thing is worked probably to exhaustion. That thing was way bigger than it is right now.
It's really thick.
They've worked that down to a nub.
Yeah.
It's seen a lot of use. I like the tip on it. Awesome. All right.
Very sharp.
Looks like I got some catching up to do.
Uh-huh.
Good job, babe.
Hey, so I think I just found number 4,
Potentially.
potentially. Doesn't look, it's hard to see what it could be.
Definitely looks worked.
Didn't expect. Oh, no. What is that?
Oh wow.
A little triangle.
Like a big preform.
I didn't expect that much
No
to be in the
notches.
ground.
Is that base broke or is it just work right down?
No, it's just how it's worked.
It's like
A
a
little teeny break right
yeah, like
here.
a blade. Like a blade or
Oops, oops.
like a blade or a preform or something.
Does that count as a point or no?
Yes, it does. Alright, on to the next. Hey, what's up, guys? We moved from earlier. We were way on that side of the field where we were finding, well, Tika found a couple points. I got one. So we moved back over to where we were the other day when I found that paleo piece, Clovis, high-low, whatever it is. I haven't figured it out yet, but we didn't walk about half of this. There's a small site right here, and we didn't cover about half of it. And like I said, they must have got, I don't know, I would imagine a couple inches of rain last night, because when we were here the other day, the furrows in here were probably a foot high, and now it's rained just absolutely flat. So kind of excited about that. But just walked up on my first one on this side, so it looks like I might have two to take us 4.
Yes,
So
I have 4.
slowly catching up, but looks like it's pretty good size too. Got some color.
Looks really nice.
Hopefully it's got a base, huh?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it does. A little notch on that side. It's a pretty good size point, isn't it? See her there?
Yep.
Yeah, it is. Thick. Yeah, it's a good size one. I'll take that one.
Good job, babe.
All right.
So it's really windy. Hopefully you guys can hear this video. About 10 minutes ago, Mike found that white point. So he has 2, I have 4, and I just walked up on something, and at first I thought it was a stick or a corn stalk, so I'm pretty excited to see what it is, because it's definitely my most exciting pull of the day, because most of it's buried. So
Looks like it's got some teeth on it, but we don't know if it
maybe
is.
it's a drill,
Look at this.
maybe it's just an amazing point.
Yeah, it's got like this red base cortex,
It's got a lot of tension.
but it looks like it's got a lot of teeth on it. I don't know. It's pretty wild.
Oh, not too much tension.
No?
No. Oh, wow.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh, look at that drill. Holy crap.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
So there's that. So I have
Holy crap.
5 and 2 perfect points today.
Look at that drill.
Look at that. It's not broken at all.
Oh my goodness. Holy crap. Has it got like a little bit of,
I don't know, the top, I think
No,
that's
on
the
the-
cortex.
it is, it's the base there, like a little, but on the end, has it got a little,
I don't think so. No, it's drilled right down.
holy smokes. Look at the size of that thing.
Well, that's exciting.
And you just said like, oh, I hope it's not a drill. And I said,
Well, I like them.
man, I said, if that's a drill like what I think it could look like, I bet you're gonna like it. Unbelievable.
I'm having a good day.
Yeah, I would say this is your day so far.
Wow.
All right, we'll get that cleaned up and check that out. That's gonna be killer. So about 2 seconds, maybe, we should just let the camera on after Tika pulled out what looked like the coolest drill I've ever seen in my life. She reminded me that she went another one ahead of me. But we went about 2 seconds and I got what looks like maybe the edge of something sticking out. See it there? Looks like it's got a little bit of working on that edge. It's got some pressure.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow. It's
just-
a lot bigger than
yeah. Look at that. Big triangle. Maybe a preform or something, or just a big triangular blade.
Nice. So,
Like,
you're
complete-
slowly catching me.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Nice.
Just give it 5 more minutes.
See here.
Yep. Good job, babe.
Just after I found that broken drill, looks like I got a little one here. Look how tiny that is. I don't know if that's one of those little micro drills or what that is. Tiny, tiny. Cool. What's going on, everybody? I got another thing in the ground here. Still on that same little spot where I found that micro drill. Tika found that amazing drill. We got maybe a couple more rows and then we're gonna take a break and then hit another spot. But see if this isn't anything. I can see it's worked. It might be a base. Looks like it might have some little notches. I'm not real sure, to be honest with you. Oh, it's a blunt. Hafted scraper. Like a really good one, though. You see it from there?
Mm-hmm.
It's got some, like, amazing material. Yeah, look at the shine on that from there. Wow. Yeah, I would say as far as hafted scrapers go, that's a good one there. Look at that. I'll take that one.
So I did just find one. It looks like it could be an absolute killer. So I'm super excited to get it out of the ground and see what it is.
Yeah, look at the flaking on that. Standing straight up. Alright.
Let's see. Ooh, the dirt's moving.
Oh, wow.
Oh, he's thick.
I told you it looked like it was
Having,
freaking beast.
not having a very bad day.
No, look at that point. Look at the size of that guy.
He's very thick.
I said it looked thick. Probably got a good chance of it not being broken then.
Him looks like an Adina.
See the size of it. Yeah. Right here with the sun on you. Let's see.
Oh my gosh.
It's almost broke, right? Yeah, there you go. Wow. All right, guys, we're still back. We're still at it, and I think we're almost done. Tika's telling me it's dinner time, and I'm always pushing it to the last minute, but I might walk a couple more rows. Just started heading this way, kind of in a new direction that we haven't walked yet. And I got one on the ground here, so let's see what it is. You got her?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it might be nice. Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Look at the
Base.
Look at the stem on that. Oops. Thick. Oh, it's got a long stem.
Uh-huh. That's really cool.
That's a cool point. All right. I got something here in the ground. I don't know what it is or if it's anything or not, but I figured I better throw the camera on just in case. It's probably nothing. But...
Is that a big blade?
oh wow, it is. Holy smokes. Look at that. What the world? Yeah. Look at the flaking in that. It's just a huge blade.
Is it broken in half?
No, it's flaked all down this side too. Look at it. See that?
Yeah.
Almost like they broke it in half and then flaked it. It's just a huge, look at this, just a huge knife.
That's sweet.
That's wild, huh?
That's sweet.
Look at that thing. The size of that. I'll get it cleaned up and see what that looks like. But man, I didn't expect that. That's pretty cool. All right, guys, here's the cleanup for April 7th, our second part of our 2-day trip. It's starting to sprinkle on me a little bit, so I'm going to try to get this done before it rains. Kind of go through some of this stuff real quick, kind of an overview of our second day out there. We had, I would say, just as good, if not better, second day as we did the first day. Kind of just some brokes here, some shames. I mean, look at some tiny little guys that I would have loved to seen whole. Some bases. This would have been probably one big, I don't know, maybe a big sandy or something like that. Just a big side notch deal. Looks like maybe Indiana green. You know, these are just some big tools. There's kind of a spot over to the one side of the field where we find a lot of older stuff, and I don't know a lot about it as far as what you know, if you know how to tell what's older or what as far as tools goes, but the stuff just all seems to be in one location where we find some older stuff. You know, some of this would have been like, this one would have been killer. See the flaking on that. Just some neat stuff, but neat tools and whatnot. But I'll kind of go through some of these points real quick before it rains too much. But we got just some triangular pieces here. This, I believe, this came from that spot where I was just talking about. I'm thinking this would have been a broken high-low. You can see where it's broke there and it's broke there. Two little ears that are missing. But it's ground super heavy right there and right there. You know, you can see where it's sharp and where it's ground. I'm thinking that might have been a high-low transitional paleo piece. Just another little triangle, kind of a cruddy material, but there's that guy. Some broke drill there, probably should have had down in the broken spot. This is neat. This is kind of like, I don't know, little micro drill, I think they might call it. I mean, it is tiny. It's as big as the tip of your finger, but it's worked all the way around. This is big wide blunt. This thing, I don't know if you can see the flaking on or not, but this thing is just beautiful. You know, for a hafted scraper. Worked real well. This was kind of a neat point here that Tika found. This is probably one of the sharpest points that we have or I've seen. It's worked right down to nothing. Looks like it might have been
piece of Burlington from Illinois, possibly, which is neat coming from Indiana there where we were. But it's razor sharp. Sides are still sharp. But they obviously got every bit of use out of that guy right there. This is kind of a neat piece that I found. Looks like it possibly Indiana green. Just a little, looks like a little dovetail. It's got a heavily ground base on it. Just a little guy, but yeah, pretty nice little dovetail. Here's another preform, maybe just a triangle of some sort. It's worked really well, real thin. Just a solid piece. Starting to rain a little bit, but here's a piece that she found early in the day. It's a shame it's got a little bit of a broken ear and base on that side. Some beautiful material, almost looks Sonora-ish. So definitely could be, but yeah, it's a nice piece there too. This was a neat piece. This is the last one I found during the day here. I'm thinking bottleneck on that guy. Super thick. That's a pretty cool piece. This was, I ended up finding this guy towards the end of the day as well. It's kind of got some wild colors on it. Huge base. It's not a bad piece though. A little bit unsymmetrical, but you know, pretty good size. This was a piece that Tika found, and I'm thinking it's a heavy duty. It's got one heck of a bevel on it there, super thick, made very well, nice and serrated. And you can see, I think on the base there, it's worked off just a little bit on this side. It's got a little chip there, and a little chip there, and a little chip right there. Otherwise, I think it would have had a little bit of a lobed base there. Pretty indicative, I think, of a heavy duty type. She also found this big piece here, which is just beautiful. Looks like it was made on the outer part of the rock, the cortex on that side, and then flaked on this side, which you can see. It's starting to rain a little bit, so you can see all the flaking in the rain here. But I think it's probably a big Dixon. Beautiful material on that. And then I found this guy. This is pretty wild. You can see a little bit of flaking right there on that side, a little bit of kind of a cutting side, but I'm not sure if that's like a crescent knife or if it's just a handheld knife. But I mean, this whole side over here, you can see the flaking on that. It's just awesome. See it there? That whole side is flaked up. And you know, I don't like to be one that says, you know, it fits perfectly in your hand, but man, this thing, you know, holding this side here, it lays like right perfect, and you can see the cutting side on that. It's almost like a big handheld knife. I thought that was a pretty neat piece. Set that there, and then probably the find of the day, as far as I'm concerned, was Tika's drill. Yeah, I'm almost scared to hold this thing. It is made just absolutely beautiful. I didn't get a measurement on it, but I'm thinking it's probably 3 inches long. And it's funny because it weighs like absolutely nothing. It's paperweight is basically what it is. Doesn't even sound, you can hear it on my ring, and it doesn't even sound like a solid flint. It's just, it almost feels hollow. It's so light. Probably the nicest drill that I've ever seen, anyway, personally. So I would have to say that's the find of the day among everything else. You know, we did have, between the 2 days, I'd say we did pretty well. I was pretty pleased with everything we found. So, got myself, Tika doesn't like me bringing them home. I'm sure you guys are all the same way. I got just a pitted hammerstone. You can see all the pecking on that side. I bring him home every time I find him, and she thinks I'm crazy. But anyway, this is everything from April 7th. You know, I wanted to start doing cleanups in our videos. I know all of our previous videos before 2020, I didn't do cleanups. So I'm going to try to get all these on there now so you can see everything that we found. So like I said before, hopefully everybody's staying healthy, and get out there and keep rocking, guys. See ya.